Me, the conversation was so good last time that I was like, I have to do it twice, right? There's some things that we may have missed, but we're going to catch up not only on what you've been up to, how we're going to help so many other people. So take us through it. But before you do, please introduce yourself, tell my audience where they can find you, and a little bit about yourself.
So happy to do so. So I'm Dr. Marcia Martin. I call myself the heart healer because I work in the energetic realm, helping people to recover from abuse and trauma. And that's what I think I want everyone to know more than anything else is that recovery is possible. Because when you heal the heart, and I'm speaking about the energetic heart, when you heal the heart, when you are no longer responding to the previous pain and trauma that was running the show or the fear that was running and ruining your life, then your life is going to transform because we receive into our lives what we put out into the world energetically, either through our conscious mind or our subconscious mind. So, getting into the heart space and doing that healing work is imperative so that your subconscious mind won't be sending out a panic, fear, pain program while your conscious mind is trying to say, send me wonderful things. Because if you've got that conflict, the heavier, more practiced program is going to be in charge. The subconscious is going to get its word out there. And the conscious mind, which we are not conscious much of the time, unfortunately, the conscious mind will be like a little bird chirping occasionally, but the subconscious will be that heavy foot on the gas pedal saying, yeah, pain is all I know. Bring me more pain. It's just what I'm used to. And that you may be then confused about why is my affirmation program not working? Or why is it that I'm trying so hard, but I'm not seeing change? If that's happening to you, it is because there is this energetic blockage that exists in your heart that you need to clear first so that you're all on one plan. You're all together, you're sending out the message of what you do want, and you're not running into any roadblocks or confusion. So you can find me on my website, which is mmhearthealer.com. And we have just added something new so that if you want to work with me and finances are difficult, you can now join one of our pay as you pay what you can group counseling programs through the Heart Healing Foundation, which is just an extension. It's the same work. It's just offering you this service, even if your finances are not up to being able to pay for private care.
There's a time in my life where I just wanted to be the best person that I could be. And I was trying to figure it out like so many people, right, Marcia? And you mentioned energy work and you mentioned the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious parts of our mind, right? And I think I had that battle where my subconscious mind was, Terrain, you want to do this, you want to be this way. And then I was like, wait a minute, this isn't helping me find the success that I want. In the people that you help, and from your experience, what is the source of that conflict between what we want to do, what we're used to doing, and what we're trying to figure out? This doesn't work anymore for me. I want to change.
Unfortunately, it is almost always rooted in a time when you felt powerless or victimized. And so it doesn't seem fair that we would put that part of ourselves in charge. But what we need to recognize is as a child or in a situation where we don't feel that we are powerful, we'll do whatever we can to protect ourselves. And so the best that we can come up with is, hey, I'm going to remember this and I'm going to make sure I never fall for this, or I'm never weak or vulnerable to this again. And we create a program that tells us run, freeze, or fight your way out. And unfortunately, we're just using the weakest part of ourselves to do the fighting, to do the response. And we need to use the highest, most integrated part of ourselves if we're going to see that success. So it is not that there's anything wrong with you. It's simply that you acquired this pattern out of a weakness, and now you're trying to use it to become strong. And it's just a disconnect. You have to let go of that weak part, take it out, review it, understand what it was doing for you, and then be willing to replace it. Say, hey, I appreciate your effort, but I'm not there anymore. I don't need to cower in the corner. I can react and respond with something that is going to move me forward. So I lovingly release you, and I'm going to replace you with this new understanding of how I can respond appropriately in a powerful manner that will move me forward.
Is that hard for people to identify? Because that sounds like something that you have to face head on and you can't cower from it.
Well, that's an unfair question because this is what I do. So for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so obvious. But I remember starting just being a ball of pain and being shown where I had all of these places, all of these false representations of how I could stay safe. So, yeah, it is difficult, but the way that I do this is very soft, very loving, and very safe. And I think that's the benefit of having someone to work with, because I'll just say to you, okay, what are you experiencing right now? And you will, without realizing it, just give me this bullet point list of all of these things that in my mind are saying, check, check, check. And then I'll ask you, and what is the earliest memory that you have of a time when you felt, and we'll identify whatever it is that could be the core issue. So it could be something like betrayal. If you were betrayed, you may then automatically shut people out who are trying to help you, and some of them could be legitimate. And then you could be just so confused about, why is it that nobody is able to help me? Well, you're not letting them because you had an early betrayal, and you learned if you didn't let anyone in, that was much safer than opening up and finding out that you were betrayed in a way that really, really hurt you deeply. So we would just go in and look at that time, lovingly release it, and then replace it with the knowledge that you are now capable of making wise decisions about individuals.
If I look at some of the past trauma that I have and some of the childhood issues that I grew up with, especially not having my mother, my father around, my safety net, my safe space, as you mentioned it, right, was around my grandmother who raised me, was around older men and women who helped me understand life. And maybe, well, not maybe, now that I'm talking to you, I understand. That's probably why I gravitated to the older crowd, even in my adult years, because they reminded me of a safer time and a happier time. Is that some of the things that you work through your clients as well?
Yes, and you may look at people that should have been your mother or father's age and say, I can't trust you. So I can't explore this opportunity with you, without realizing that that person had an open door that was safe for you. You immediately shut it because it was too close to a repetition of a time that was unsafe for you. Even though your grandparents were loving and wonderful to you, you still had that, I am not safe around people that are in their 20s when I'm little, or, have that 20 to 30 year age gap. I'm not safe around those people. and you could never articulate why, and you have no idea how many experiences for growth or forward movement that you may have denied yourself because it was so important for you not to allow yourself to connect meaningfully with someone who was 20 to 30 years older because you were just waiting for them to be taken away. So that other person that might be 50 or 60 years older than you, who was consistent, oh, I can depend on them. They showed me that they can be here for me continuously.
That makes a lot of sense. And if any of my ex-girlfriends are listening to this, they're probably going to be very upset. And they're going to probably agree with you saying that I knew it. It wasn't me. It was him. But you're absolutely right. Because if I were to look at some people and they reminded me of more difficult times, harder times,
Right. And
colder times, right?
why do we want our present to be filled with the pain of our past? We think we are creating this, beautiful golden walkway by staying away from that painful past. But what we're not realizing is we're also preventing ourselves from opportunities and from really experiencing a full life. Or we may pave that walkway with all of our weaknesses and then really shame ourselves for not being more successful.
How do you help others first identify that and work to resolve that? Because it seems a little bit unfair to those that they're going to come in contact with and they're projecting, in a way, their bad experience onto them, even though they're innocent at that time.
And that is very true. We all do it. There is no one, unless you are extremely enlightened, you are going to automatically project whatever is inside you, especially the hurt and the pain in relationships. And the more the relationship matters to you, the more likely that hurt and pain is going to be projected because you're trying to test whether this person is going to be safe or they're going to be, I need to run away. So you will quickly bring out the wounding after that initial honeymoon period. You want to bring out the wounding to decide, can I invest in this person or do I need to really get out of here quickly because they are not safe and I just can't emotionally process being hurt in that way again. So the way that I do it is all through energetics because I'm clairaudient. I can work with the angels and all of the energetic beings. So they tell me, as you're talking, they're talking to me as well. And they're saying, oh, look at that. Look at that. Again, look at this list that we've generated for you of all of the ways that you are indicating this is a place of great pain for you. And then they take us into the heart. And what is the most wonderful part about this work is that they are very adamant that you never go alone. One of the things that trauma teaches us is no one will help us. We're all alone. We're not powerful enough to handle the situation, and it will probably be painful. So we can't bring that message and expect to get clearing. We're just going to get more running away. No one would ever run into that and say, yeah, okay, I'm ready to address it unless you're a martyr. So their program is we're here and we do the heavy lifting. The Christ consciousness creates a safe space and says, absolutely, you will not go before me. I will go first. I will identify the pain. You will be able to look at it without feeling any kind of trauma related to it, but you'll be able to see it for what it really was. And you'll be able to identify your reaction and see whether your reaction was appropriate. And then we'll help you release it. So there is no painful deep dive into your past where you have to feel guilty or foolish or, any of that negativity. There is just this opportunity to see, wow, I was completely unprepared. And yet I managed to navigate an extremely difficult situation. But now I have tools. Now I'm older, I'm wiser, I'm stronger, I'm more powerful. That thing doesn't really impress me anymore. I can just let it go. So it's an agreement. You have to be in agreement that you want to let it go. No one's going to force you, but it definitely shows you you were an amazing being to make it through that time. But those coping mechanisms aren't working anymore, so you can let them go. You're not 3, you're not 4. You have a whole new toolbox to work from. So let's adjust how you're responding to the toolbox and the knowledge that you have in this present moment.
For those who are watching on Facebook, YouTube, and my website, remember to share, like, subscribe for more incredible interviews like my new best friend, Marcia Martin, and we will be back for more. So